All right, let's get real. Welcome to Over It and On Air podcast. I'm your host, Kate, and today we're starting a new series titled Heartbreak, Healing, and Healthy Love. And today we're going to be digging into the first episode of that series, just basically starting the journey to and on heartbreak, healing, and healthy love. Okay, okay. Before we get started, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can follow me on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and again, I upload bi-weekly on Fridays. And yeah, so let's get started and let's get real because we got stuff to talk about. I am not having a guest today, okay? I'm recording alone, and so we're gonna get into some stuff. All right, come on, come in, sit down, and listen to me. Okay, so this series is something that was really put on my heart because just like so many of you, I've been heartbroken before. I've been in love. I've been hurt. I've been in toxic relationships. You name it. So it's really something that's near and dear to my heart. So whether you're single right now, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're in something toxic, or whether you're healing right now, or you don't know, you're kind of confused, or maybe you're just in a gray space. Like we gonna get into some stuff. So I'm gonna get real with y'all today, and I'm gonna get deep, just a little bit, and I'm gonna dive into like some of my personal experiences and things like that, some of my beliefs and just some things that I've learned, um, over the past few years or just throughout my relationships that I've been in. So I've been heartbroken before. I've been cheated on. I've been lied to, and then I've also just ended things with people just because they're not adding to me or I can't see myself with that person anymore, etc. I've experienced it all, honey. Okay. But I've come to learn though that relationships, they're very, very valuable lessons. So in terms of like heartbreak and things like that, I think that it's all about perspective. I know whenever you're heartbroken or things, kind of suck at that time or you're feeling hurt, that it's hard for you to view things in a positive way or, think about things positively because it's rough, like you're hurt, you're feeling vulnerable, you're not in a good space at that time, or you just feel betrayed or whatever your feelings are, and those are valid. So it's kind of hard for you to step out of that box and really like view things from a different perspective. But when you're able to get to that point, if you look at it like, what is this relationship doing for me, or am I benefiting from this relationship, or okay, this person hurt me, but what is it trying to teach you? You know what I mean? So, things do get rough, but I think that we learn how strong we are, how resilient we are. We learn things about ourselves, and we know what we will accept, what we're not willing to accept, and all of those things by being in a relationship or, getting broken up with, whatever the case may be. So I want to start talking about why relationships matter to begin with. So I think that people kind of lose sight of like what relationships are for or what they're about or what their purpose is. Um because we kind of get caught up in like, oh, just having a partner, or not being comfortable being alone, um or just being attracted to someone. But like dating with intention is a big thing. It's a big deal, and it needs to be talked about. If you're looking for, a serious relationship, like relationships do matter. God put us on this earth to not be alone. That is not our purpose. We're better together. Okay. And that means friends, family, romantic relationships, etc. But relationships are supposed to help you grow. Relationships are something that God gave us to show us more things about ourselves, to help us grow as a person, and to also give that to other people as well. So if a relationship is not benefiting you, if it's not teaching you something, if you're not growing as a person, or this person isn't challenging you to be better, holding you accountable, adding happiness to your life, or anything like that, then their relationship is probably not for you. I do think that whenever you come into a relationship, you need to, already love yourself, because then you'll mistake someone else's love for your love, and then things get real real misconstrued and messy, because you need to love yourself first. You need to love yourself, because if you don't love you, then number one, you can't love anyone else, and number two, if you don't love yourself, then you don't know if if what somebody's giving you is true love or what you truly deserve, because you don't know your worth if you don't love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, then you probably don't think that you're, that value, so you're more willing to accept anything or bare minimum. um but I do know that, like, relationships can do some damage, and I've been damaged quite a bit, so we can talk about that. So I want to talk about how people that are in toxic relationships feel stuck, and they feel like they can't get out of that, or they can't get out of that cycle. And I kind of want to get to a little bit of the root of those things. So, first and foremost, I feel like when you first get in a relationship, like, you're probably on this high horse, like everything is going good because every new broom sweeps good. When you first meet somebody and you're in that honeymoon phase, like, girl, it feel good, it's going great, like, shit, it's just good. And you start to develop this perception of that person based off of those initial moments with that person. So when in the beginning, when they're buying you flowers and roses, and then they're opening the doors for you, and they taking you on dates, and they're expressing their love to you and all of that, like, you develop that perception of that person, and you create that idea and that image in your head, and that's who that person is to you. And then when things begin to change later down the line, you hold on to that original perception that you created about that person in your head, because that's their potential to you. You know that they're capable of buying you the flowers. You know they're capable of, opening your door and planning dates and all this stuff, that you hold on to that. And so then it alters your reality, because you're in the moment and you're seeing that this person isn't buying you flowers no more, or maybe they're not, taking you out on as many dates, but in your mind, you're holding on to what you already think of that person and what that person has done already. And then you get to the point where, you know that that person is not doing what they, originally did for you, but it's so hard for you to let go, because in your mind, you know that this person is capable of doing these things. You know that. But it's like, some people, unfortunately, they start stuff and they create these, they set the bar, and then they get upset whenever you expect what they've already done for you. And it sucks, because some people can't see that. But I think people get so caught up in, like, the potential of people, the potential, like, oh, well, like, I know they're capable of doing this because they've done it before, or I know that they're, like, a good person, like, I know it. And baby, just because somebody's a good person don't mean that they a good partner for you and to you. And you have to be willing to accept that. And I think that a lot of us live in this fairy tale world where we just have this, like, this like this different reality in our heads, and we live there. Like, we live in our heads. Like, you are here physically, but in your head, you living in a whole different world, and you hanging on to that. And that's what really puts us back. And then the longer that you wait, and the longer that you stay, and the longer that you hold on, the more comfortable you get. You form these attachments to these people. You get to the point where you feel like it's no letting go, or now I didn't put too much time in with this girl or this boy, so I'm just gonna stay around, because they gonna get back to how they used to be, or they'll change, or whatever the case may be. But they're not, and that's the hard reality. They're not going to change. And unfortunately, some people just do things that they can't uphold in the end. But do you know your worth? Do you know what you deserve? Do you know what you're capable of receiving out of love from someone? And if you know that, and you value yourself, you know your worth, you know what you're capable of, you know what you give and what you deserve, then you should be able to walk away no matter what. I think it's very hard. And I think it's something that, some people just, you don't just, have that type of maybe strength to do that originally, or like early on, or whatever the case may be. But like, that's something I had to learn. Like, I went through a really, really kind of like rough relationship when I was a little younger. And in the beginning, oh my God, y'all, it was like the most perfect relationship ever. The doors were being held, so polite, all this stuff, and then it turned bad and sour and very, very, very toxic. I think we were both just young, and like, everybody has these personal issues, things like that, but we'll get to that. But anyways, I'm trying to say it turned super, super toxic, but I was holding on to what I knew it was in the beginning. I was holding on to that person that was opening the doors for me, that was buying me flowers, that was so nice and polite to me and so gentle and soft spoken. And I was being blinded by the person who at that point was being rude to me, being ugly to me, talking to me any kind of way, or, whatever the case may be. And that altered, my reality, because I was confused, because in my mind, I'm like, okay, that's yes, he's doing this, but like, I know what he's capable of. And like, I know what he used to do. And like, that's the person I fell in love with. And I think we just get so blinded by that. Like, we get so caught up in like, oh my God, like, I fell in love with this person. That person that they are in the beginning, we fall in love with that person, because that's our first perceptions, our first moments with these people. And we get so like stuck in that like, whenever things change, like, we're still in love with what was. And it's very difficult to, walk away from that, especially like whenever this is your first relationship, or with someone, or if this is a relationship that you've been in for a long time and things like that. But I'm saying all of that to say that I went through that type of relationship, and it took me years to just really leave and like truly move on, like mentally, emotionally, and physically. Like, it took a lot for me to do that, because I was younger. I was lacking a lot of self-love in certain areas. I felt like I was lacking a lot of love, like, from my childhood, or, around in that, from people that were close to me in that time of my life. And so I was accepting of a lot less than what I deserved. But the way that you love yourself is going to be the reflection of how you allow someone to treat you and love you. And I think that once I was in therapy with that relationship, and I started going to see the lady on that couch, and I started going to therapy really consistently, and I was actually putting in the work outside of therapy with my therapist to actually heal from that. I remember I made a promise to myself, and that promise to myself was that I will never ever allow somebody to treat me that way again. I will never stay somewhere that I know I don't belong, and I will be willing to leave whatever situation, no matter who someone is, no matter what they have, no matter anything, behind me and my peace and what I deserve, because I know my worth now. I love myself now. And so I don't accept any of that. The people that I allow in my life, whether it's friends and relationships, like romantic relationships, those friendships and relationships are a reflection of how I love myself. And if that relationship is not showing that, then that relationship no longer stands in my life, period. And that's something I stood on. That's something I made a promise to myself. I literally got a ring. This ring right here. This ring right here. I got this ring. And that was when I made that promise to myself, that I will never allow somebody to, get me that low again. And I will never just be somewhere that I know I don't belong. And I think that it's very difficult. I'm not saying it to say that it's very easy, but after I went in that relationship, I was like, I'm done. I'm never going to accept, just any type of treatment. I'm going to accept what I deserve, because when you date, you need to be dating with intention anyway. If you out here dating and you don't have any intention behind it, then you're wasting your time and you're wasting other people's time. I date with the intent to build something, to eventually get married one day. Not to say that every relationship that I go in, obviously I'm single, but let me take this part out. But you need to date with intention. If you're dating someone and you have plans for this person to be long-term, the father of your kids, your husband, you need to be making sure that this man or this woman is doing what they need to do right now. Because if they're not doing it right now, maybe a couple months in, 6 months in, what you think they're going to be doing 20 years later? They're not going to have nothing for you. They're not going to benefit nothing, add nothing to you or your life at all. So you have to make sure that you set those boundaries in your life. And that I talked about boundaries in my last podcast, but um I also think that it's very important to have boundaries, even romantically, like with people. I have boundaries, and that's why I don't allow people to just treat me any kind of way. Like, baby, first of all, if I meet a man and he reaches out to me and he's not already talking about, maybe taking me out on a date or anything like that to get to know me, then we have nothing to talk about, because I'm very serious about having a man in my life that's gonna date me and court me the right way. I'm not like, this man is potentially gonna be the father of my kids one day, and I'm gonna let him treat me any kind of way? No, not happening. And so I think that, like, we just get super comfortable as humans because we all crave that love and we want that love and we want that intimacy and that affection in our lives. And so we just kind of accept whatever's around us. But, like, you have to get to a point where you're willing to literally walk away from anybody. Not to get too deep, but I walked away from a millionaire. I left a millionaire. Not because of cheating, not because of disrespect, not because of toxicity, but simply because that person was no longer what I saw for my future or my kids, because our values were not the same. The things that were important to me were not important to him, and he could not make those things important enough to him, even though they were important to me. But I was steadily making everything that was important to him, I made important to me. Your hobbies and my hobbies completely different, but I still made time to participate in your hobbies and do things with you because I valued you, but you could never do that for me. And hey, baby, that's enough for me to leave. So it don't take somebody just to cheat on you and disrespect you a million times for you to walk away. You have to be very, very serious about yourself and what you're willing to accept. I walked away from that relationship, and baby, I was heartbroken. It was hard because that fell on me, and that was where my feelings. It was hard for me to walk away and not have had somebody disrespect me or cheat on me, because that's what I was used to. Like, it's kind of typical, like, and it's kind of normalized that, like, you leave when somebody disrespects you or cheats on you or whatever case may be. But that was never the case in my relationship. It was simply like, your values don't align with my values, and what's important to you is not important to me, and you can't compromise with me, but I feel like I'm always trying to meet you halfway to compromise with you, and that's enough for Caitlin to leave. I'm not accepting that. And I think we need to get more serious. We need to kind of develop that mindset, because we wait until somebody disrespects us or cheats on us, and they keep doing it time and time again, and now you 5 years in and you feel like you've invested too many years or too much time to just walk away from somebody. And we're wasting our years. We're wasting too much time doing that. But I'm saying all of that to say that, like, you got to get to a point where you love yourself and you value yourself so much that anything can go behind you. Like, you got to be serious about you. Like, the way you're not going to let nobody play with your mama, your sister, your best friend, your cousin, your brother, whatever. You need to get like that about yourself. Like, I'm going to say it time and time again, it's hard. It's not easy. And it takes time to develop this type of mindset. Without therapy, child, I don't know if I would even be this way. Well, I wouldn't be this way. But you have to love yourself. Like, and I mean truly love you. You are the only person that you have to live with every single day of your life until you die. You're the only person you have to live with. You don't got to live with nobody else. You don't have to live with your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your cousin, your friends. You have to live with you. So why not be happy on the inside? And you have to love you enough to walk away from any and everything that is not serving you. I have been through relationships where there was abuse involved. And this is something that I've never really opened up about to anyone, but I'm going to get vulnerable with y'all. I've been in relationships where I was cheated on, dogged, walked like a dog, and somehow I'm here, healed, and moved on from that. And it was rough. But how did I get there? I had to start from the beginning and really truly learn to love me, and to really get to a point where I was putting my foot down and I was like, I'm never going to allow myself to be that low again. I was leaning to liquor because I was just so heartbroken and couldn't heal from, like, my first relationship, this was years ago. I was out with my friends all the time, like just masking my emotions and my feelings. But you have to go through them, y'all. You have to go through your emotions. You have to allow yourself to feel those things. Those are valid emotions, but put a timeline on it. Okay, yes, I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna cry, but hey, after 2 days, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna go take a walk. I'm getting myself up out this bed. Take yourself serious because healing is so important. And again, like I said earlier, healing is a journey and it's not a destination. It's not something that you're going to wake up and say, oh, I'm here, I'm done, and this is it. Absolutely not. It's something that is a forever thing. So when you going through your heartbreak and you going through stuff in your life, it's going to hurt and it's going to suck. But be patient with yourself. Like, you have to get to that point where you're willing to just go through the emotions to truly heal and move on from stuff like that. If you're heartbroken and somebody cheated on you or disrespected you or whatever, or maybe y'all just grew apart, you gotta trust and know that what is for you is never gonna miss you. And even though it sucks and it hurts right now, you have to believe that this is happening for the best of you. And even if you can't see it right now, you will see it later. And if somebody cheated on you and you heartbroken, it's okay to be hurt about feeling betrayed, or somebody hurting you that you may would have never hurt or whatever. But you gotta realize, like, God really protecting you from that. God is protecting you from somebody that doesn't value you or doesn't respect you, and that's not what God wants for you either. God wants you to be happy, to be whole, to be complete. He wants you to be happily married one day. Like, God gave marriage. God gave relationships. He gave us all of this stuff. His desires are not for you to be hurting. So trust and know that if you're heartbroken right now and somebody did something to you to hurt you, that there's light. It's gonna get better. Y'all, when I was heartbroken, I kid y'all not, I went through my last breakup. It's gonna be 2 years in May that I've been single. But I went through my heartbreak, y'all. I swear. I graduated nursing school. Me and this man broke up 2 weeks later while I was studying for my NCLEX, which is, if you don't know what that is, it's basically the national licensure examination that you have to take to be become a registered nurse, or just be licensed as a nurse to actually work. Studying for the biggest test of my freaking life, literally my career. Mind you, it's no you could just retake it right after. No, you gotta wait X amount of time, whatever. Y'all, kid y'all not, in the middle of studying for this NCLEX, my NCLEX was a week after we broke up, a week and a half, or almost 2 weeks, about 2 weeks after we broke up. Y'all, I had tears in my book, in my NCLEX book, because I couldn't eat. I was sick as a dog. Heartbreak sucks, y'all. It hurts so bad. It's the worst thing ever. Heartbreak, it really sucks. It's so bad. It's so painful. Y'all, wasn't eating. I wasn't drinking no water. I wasn't sleeping. I already got insomnia and I couldn't sleep. Wasn't eating, drinking, sleeping, nothing. Could barely study. I literally was just sitting there, y'all, puffy-eyed every day, crying, tears all in the book. Couldn't even get myself out of bed. And if you're there right now, just know that it gets better. If nobody can tell you, look at me. I'm telling you, y'all, it gets better. In that moment, I felt like I would never, ever, ever feel better. That I would never be healed and moved on. That I would never feel good again. I was so hurt. And that was also my first relationship where, when we broke up, we actually broke up. We really wasn't being toxic or, dragging things on. I have not seen him physically, literally, since we broke up. And I remember feeling like this is never going to get better. I'm never going to feel better. All the excitement that I had about graduating nursing school and starting my job, it all went out the window. I literally couldn't even enjoy or be happy, for myself. I was literally getting ready to move to Dallas in 3 weeks after we broke up. And I couldn't even focus on that. I was sick to my stomach. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I was locked up in the house. I couldn't study nothing. So if you're there right now, I get it. But look at me. it's almost not even 2 years later, and here I am. I'm thriving. I'm working my dream job. I live in my dream city. I love it here. I love my friends. I just started a podcast. Like, I'm feeling prettier than ever. Like, I love everything about myself. But I didn't feel like that like a year and a half or 2 years ago. I didn't feel like that when I was going through my breakup. I thought that it was it. Like, I thought like my life was over. Like, I'm not gonna be able to enjoy my job. I'm not gonna be able to enjoy the new city because I'm gonna be just so heartbroken. And I was. I was. I was heartbroken for months and months and months. And then boom, the second I felt like, okay, I can breathe again a little bit, like just a little, my brother passed away. And that ruined me at that time. Like, and again, I was something else I went through, and I felt like I'm never gonna come out of this. I'm never gonna feel better. And then what, 2 3 months later, my grandma passed away. It's like a domino effect, and I couldn't shake back. Like, I could never just repair and heal from anything. But I'm saying it to say, like, if you're in that moment in your life right now where you feel like there's no coming out because that hole is just so dark and you're just so hurt, trust and know that you will come out of that. That is not forever, it's temporary. You will heal. And I allow myself to feel things, but I allow myself to feel, but I put a timeline on that. Like, you have to pick yourself up. Nobody's coming to save you, unfortunately. I wish. We all wish. But you gotta get up. Just get up and you keep on walking. A step is a step, a baby step, a big step. Just keep on walking. So if you're in that heartbreak era of your life, just know that it will get better. You just spend time with you and love on you and reflect and change your perspective and see what is this trying to teach me? What is this trying to show me? What's my lesson in this? And I promise, once you start thinking like that and you start really taking heed, and you're like, it's not to say that the hurt not gonna be there, because it will, but you will start to feel better. You will start to see yourself changing and growing, and allow it to do that, so that way you can reap the full benefit of whatever that lesson is in your life. Lastly, if you're in a healthy love right now, oh, I love this for you. You deserve it. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because I'm sure that if you're in a healthy love, that you've been in an unhealthy love before. And I think you deserve to be loved. We all do. We deserve to be loved. We deserve to be seen. We deserve to be heard. And if you're in a healthy love, then that's great, because that's the ultimate goal. And I think healthy love looks like two people determined to grow together, determined to work together, to be the best version of themselves, so that way they can be the best version of themselves to one another. Communication is so big, y'all. Like, communication is the vital core of your relationship. And if you don't have that, then your relationship is not going to be able to withstand any storm at all, because you need to communicate with your partner. Love, trust, and loyalty, all those things are a part of a healthy love. And I think that once you get to your healthy love, all of the things that didn't make sense, and the hurts and the pains and the heartbreaks that you went through, it makes sense, because all those things are building you for the person that you are going to be, for the person that God has for you. And that's the ultimate goal. But I do want to just say that, like, you have to be patient with yourself. I think we, as humans, we want to rush through the pain because we don't like to feel it. It's uncomfortable, right? But healing takes time, and you are not alone. I promise. Like I said, I've been heartbroken before. I've been sick to my stomach before. I've been happy before. I've been in a healthy relationship at a certain point before. But you're not alone. I promise, whatever you're going through, someone else has gone through that. So never feel alone in your pain. Never feel like you're isolated and nobody ever feels you or understands you, because you are heard and you are seen, I promise. And there is somebody that has been through what you've been through. But just know that there's hope. And healthy love, or just relationships in general, it's not about perfection, okay? It's not about being perfect. It's about mutual respect, understanding, and trust. That's what it's about. It's not about finding the person that's going to come completely perfect, because impossible. You have to find somebody that you're willing to grow with, that's willing to work with you, and love you and be patient with you. Okay, so on Instagram, someone said, never stay in hopes of someone changing. Um, yes, don't stay and wait on somebody to change, because they're not. People are going to make progress, and people are going to change and alter things when they want to. You cannot make somebody change, and don't waste your time waiting on them. You don't deserve that at all. So don't wait. Period. That was a good one. Somebody also said, how do you deal with grieving who you used to be? I think that's a really good one. So I feel like, things changes us. Experiences changes us, pain changes us, and ultimately you are going to grieve who you used to be. We're humans, we grieve. Um it's hard because you see yourself in this light of like, oh, I used to be so lovey-dovey or so innocent or just so loving, and now I'm just this tough cookie. And I feel like it's all about getting back to who you really are at the core. I think we're naturally supposed to evolve and change, so staying the same is never really our purpose. But I do think that if it comes to something like, maybe you're not as bright and happy as you used to be, get back to your core. Like, if you're grieving that aspect of you, allow yourself to feel that, but get out and do the things that you love to do. Get back to who you really are. If you knew that at that time in your life you was painting, or drawing or reading books or whatever, but you kind of got so busy with your relationship that you stopped, girl, get back to what you was doing. Go back to the park and go on a walk. Order you some adult coloring books. Order you your books that you want to read, and do it. Because again, you are the only person that you have to live with for the rest of your life. Um, but yeah, I just think that we need to give ourselves some grace. None of us are perfect, and we're all doing life for the very first time. So we're all trying to figure it out together, and we will figure it out, and you will heal, and you won't be in pain forever. You're going to get better. You're going to meet the person of your dreams. You're going to get married. You're going to have the kids that you want, and you have to be just as hopeful as me, as I am for y'all. Because so will I, baby. I'm going to have my dream man, my kids. I'm going to have everything that I want, and I'm speaking that, and I'm speaking it over y'all too. Okay. But, yeah, I just think that we gotta do better as a people. You need to do better for yourself. Men and women need to be better partners in relationships, and it's a process. But yeah. So in the next episodes, we're gonna be deep diving into like more specific topics. I just kind of wanted to give an introduction to the series by myself and address some personal experiences so y'all can get to know me a little more. But we're gonna have some more guests come in for like probably the remainder of those episodes. But I'm really excited to get into this whole relationship series because I think it's such a big part of all of our lives. So I'm excited to get real deep with y'all and personal with you guys, in hopes of helping you guys heal and learn more about yourselves and healing and love and heartbreak and what you deserve and what you desire, and address some of those things. But overall, just to recap, I've just come to learn that painful experiences can be the seeds for growth, healing, and loving yourself and also others in healthier ways. And that's kind of my goal with this series. Thank you for tuning in with me today at Over It and On Air Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can follow me on Apple and Spotify Podcasts. And I'm super excited. I hope that this helps someone in any kind of way. And again, I'm your host, Caitlin, and I'll see you next time. Bye.